もう何考えてるのよ私。七不思議なんて司くんも言ってたじゃない。深く考えない方がいいって。
Lightning flashed and thunder resounded with impeccable timing. I jumped in spite of myself. I would have shot myself too. That was loud.
Yeah, really.
I hate them. I hate them.
I like storms, but god damn, there's always that
I'm
one
okay
that gets
with
you.
A little okay with wind. But other than that, no.
No ghost should show up in a well-lit building like this, right?
And then the power goes out.
And even if they did, they wouldn't be very scary under all these bright
あの
lights.
ペンケースに入ってる鉛筆は明日の試験にどうしても必要なの。だってあれは司くんがくれたお守りなんだもん。
Oh, that's because she had a crush on the
All for a fucking pencil. God
Oh,
damn
for
it.
real. It's from Tsukasa! Honey, no one cares.
I picked up the pace as I continued to head straight for room 3-4.
What was that?
A dying woman. Or the ghost. Or both. Or some woman being fucked in the closet, honestly.
Either way.
やっぱり誰もいないのね。
Oh wait, so the...
今日はいつもよりこの廊下が長い感じがする。ただでさえこの廊下で遅刻しそうになるくらいなのに。
I continued my brisk walk down the impossibly long hallway toward my goal, jumping every now and again whenever another thunderclap sounded.
Thunderclap of
Kisaragi
these
Academy was comprised of both a middle school and a high school, and this evening it really felt like it was flaunting its massive size.
Massive size dong.
Nice cock.
Nice cock.
Didn't help that my classroom was in the high school wing, which happened to be past the middle school, making it seem that much
い
farther
つもは
away.
賑やかな場所がこんなにも静まり返っていると余計に物寂しい気がするの
A
よ。
place with no people becomes a lonely
雨の音
place.
が
Who would have
やっと大
figured?
きく聞こえる。
Shay ripping this bitch to shreds is exactly
Then all
like
of a
the kind of
sudden-
content I needed.
I heard a faint noise, as of someone playing an organ.
今の空耳だよね。そうに決まってるよ。
Where it's always bitches like Lee's that die first in horror
い
movies.
るわけないし。
I took a deep breath, trying to calm my nerves. It was probably the sounds of the rain, wind, and thunder mixing together. It just sounded like an organ, that's all. I was
Totally.
convinced. I kept walking. But then I heard the same noise again. This time it was much more clearly. It was unmistakable.
嘘。やだ。
Oh, whoops. I was paralyzed with fear. My heart was pounding as if it were struggling to break free from someone's sinister grip.
きっとまだ吹奏楽部の子とか先生が残って弾いてるんだよね。嘘だ。そうに決まってるよ。
What a dead teacher be playing?
Thinking about it, I vaguely recalled someone mentioning an upcoming performance by the Wind Instrument Club. I guess an organ would qualify. Somebody must have just stayed late to practice. That's all.
何でもかんでも怖い話に直結させちゃいけない
I took another deep breath and tried again to calm my overly jittery
な。
nerves.
怖いと思ったら何でも怖く思えるものだよね。
I'd heard that if you let your imagination run too wild, fear can even make you see things that aren't there. And my
That's great.
imagination was most definitely running wild. Yeah.
あとちょっとで教室
Imagination.
だから走っていこう。
Wow, this chapter's so fucking
Might as well
boring.
sprint.
I decided to dash toward my classroom so I could get out of this hall as quick as possible. I wish I could do this about this chapter. Oh. Finally reaching the familiar door, I swiftly opened it and flicked on the lights.
やっとたどり着いた。とあとは
Pen
ペン
case
ケー
is
スを
gonna be
忘
gone.
れないようにしなくちゃ。
It's not gonna be there.
Or she's gonna be like, eh.
Thanks
I
to
left
all
it
my
at home.
unexpected pauses to freak out over thunder and lightning. It took me far longer than it should have to get here. It was already well past 7.
7時
She admitted it.
It was the appointed time when the ghost of the teacher was supposed to appear, at least, according to the school legend.
何もないじゃない
I let out a sigh of relief and relaxed my shoulders a bit. The lights were both on inside the classroom and out in the hallway. Sure, it was still dead silent, but the fear I'd been feeling had completely melted away.
全然怖くないよやっぱり七不思議だなんて嘘だったんだな
I grabbed the pen case I'd come back for and shoved it into
よ
my
し
pocket.
これで任務完了だね
With a long ordeal behind me, more or less, I looked around the classroom and let out another sigh. I'd only ever known this classroom when it was bustling with activity, and thus found it eerily silent and utter stillness to be oddly
教
fascinating.
室に私一人ってなんだか不思議な感じがするな
I got the idea in my head to try doing something I normally wouldn't be able to, like standing at the teacher's podium and writing on the blackboard.
こんなシチュエーションめったにないし
Just go home.
I have a feeling that the Wisdom Peach is trying to give me a signal here. To me, the area
Yeah,
behind the
she means you're
podium,
about to have a fast thing.
from which teachers conduct their lessons, was like a sacred space. I dreamed of standing there myself one day and could hardly resist its pull when presented with a rare opportunity like
今
this.
なら誰も見てないし
To my classmates, this would seem such a silly, stupid dilemma, but that didn't change the way I felt at that moment.
どうしようかな
Yes, do it.
よし少しだけ先生の気分を味わっ
If
ちゃ
you
え
left the room, you would have died.
Oh. I'm guessing the ghost is actually out there then. Okay. I decided I had to try it. During daily cleanup and such, I'd come and gone from this spot countless times. But this was the first time I'd ever had an opportunity to just stand there and preside over the classroom.
そうか先生からはこんな風に見えるんだ教室
Didn't it say the dead teacher bitch just roamed the corridors?
Yeah, that's why we
So-
stayed
so
inside.
Why do you think I got her to stand at the podium for instead of leaving the room instantly?
Ugh. I had
No,
a
that's-
feeling. I had a feeling my teacher girl was just like chilling and waiting for me outside.
Now, if you listen to the music,
Gaining a teacher's point of view in the most literal sense was starting to get me really fired up. It may seem silly now, but this was my stage. This was where all my dreams would play out.
私もいつか
I began to imagine the future that awaited me, painstakingly detailing some new piece of knowledge for students sitting attentively at their desks, or sleeping, because let's be real, that's what students do. Gliding chalk across the board, filling it with information to aid them in their
い
studies.
つか先生になれるといいな
I was getting so excited that I even began to think my behavior was a little strange. Maybe it was the juxtaposition of these joyous, freeing visions and the prickling dread I'd been feeling up until just a minute or two before. But then, in a blink of an eye, one of these two conflicting emotions completely overpowered the other. Oh shit!
when your next
Oh.
choice shows up, I recommend you pick the podium. The teacher's podium. And not the locker.
停電
Just to point this out. Before
Kyra,
Thank you,
Kyra.
Wisdom Peach.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Wisdom Peach.
Your next will be even quicker.
Suddenly, my surrounded were bathed in darkness. Going stiff with shock, I stumbled back a step. My back struck the blackboard with a dull thud.
いきなり何
I instinctively grabbed a hold of the rail where the eraser sat. I felt the chalk dust against my fingertips. My
Sexy.
panicked heartbeat was making it difficult to breathe. Was this caused by the thunderstorm? If so, it sure picked a fine time to turn the lights off on. Whatever, same thing.
しかもオルガンの音まだ響いてる。嘘なんで？停電になってるならオルガンだって鳴らないはずなのに。
No. Chronologic by reason. Okay, leave. God.
Bro.
Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about?
Yes!
That's impossible! She was no fortune teller or psychic, as far as I was aware. How could
Bruh,
she
he knew
possibly
your
have
name?
known this would happen? Hell, even if she were a fortune teller or a psychic, predicting the future is the stuff of science fiction. I shook my head.
落ち着くのよ私。音楽室の方はまだ停電になってないとかきっとそんな理由だよ。
Dumbass. Oh,
I curled my chalk-dusted fingers into a fist and silently tried to talk some sense into
ともかく
myself.
早く校舎を出よう。
I shouldn't have been playing teacher. I should have been in and out by now. Pressing myself a little, I fumbled my way through the darkened classroom. I spent so much time in here, you'd think I'd be able to find my way out of it with my eyes closed, as it were. But sadly, that wasn't the case. Smashing loudly into a desk, I knocked it on its side and began tumbling after it, instinctively grabbing the other desks around me for support. Damn, eat shit.
really did eat shit. Oh my god.
といけない。机の中身まき散らしちゃったよ。元に戻さなくちゃ。
No!
Still fumbling around blindly, I gathered up all the scattered notes, textbooks, and writing
で
utensils.
も暗くて何がなんだか。もう何やってるのよ、急いでるのに。本当にドジなんだから。
I let out a sigh. I seem to be doing that a lot lately.
これは教科書とノートでしょ。
I was trying to take inventory of all the things I'd knocked out of the desk, then I realized why. I might as well just stand it up and stuff it all back
さ
in.
すがに全部を間違いなく元に戻すのは無理だな。明日ここの席の子に謝らなくちゃ。
Not that was a particularly pleasant prospect. Explaining that I'd done wouldn't be easy, and no matter how I sugarcoated it, it would serve as a clear indication of my clumsiness. If I didn't say anything, it's not like I'd be found out, but that would be the same as lying as far as I'm concerned, and I couldn't do that.
これで最後かな。
I placed my hand against the floor and swept it around, feeling for anything I might have missed, and I found something all right.
やだ。何これ。なんだかぬるぬるして。
I clearly brushed my fingers across something, but I had no idea what. It was no textbook or writing implement, though, that's for
机の
sure.
中からなんでブニュブニュしたものが。
Maybe it had been on the floor all
なん
along.
だろうこれ。
I rubbed my sticky fingertips a bit deeper into the wet spot, then brought my hand closer to my face so I could get a better look at what was there. What on earth did I just touch? There was a flash of lightning almost immediately, joined by a roaring thunderclap. And with that, for a split second, the pitch-black classroom lit up bright as day.
ち嘘。
I shot to my feet, utterly mortified. In that split second, I had gotten a very good look at my fingertips and realized, and it really did seem as if they were covered in blood. But it wasn't just my hand, no, what? That has to be in my peripheral vision.
So
I fucking pressed the spacebar. I hate when I do that. With that thinking, I backed away from where I had been crouching. I tried rationalizing what I saw. How could a whole classroom become a bloodbath like this? Did something spill? Did someone stumble in here
あ
injured?
りえない。そんな。何よこ
My whole body was quaking. I fled from the classroom. Or rather, I tried to flee.
れ。開かない。 かってなかったのに。今だって鍵はかかってないよ。それなのにどうして？
I pulled on the door handle again and again in a frenzy. I was pulling so hard it felt like my fingernails might tear loose. But it just wouldn't budge. I was absentmindedly grabbing at my hair with one hand and slamming my fist on the nearby desk with the other. This was a nightmare.
Did you hear that breathe?
Oh god, the music. Silence haunted the inky blackness of the room. I took several deep breaths in an effort to restrain my pounding heart.
とにかく一度落ち着かないと。そもそもドアが開かないのだ。
That's a pretty good reason to panic, you dumb bitch. Being locked in a room with a ghost around.
さっきの変な隣だってきっと何かの勘違いだよ。だってありえないじゃない。教室にあんなわけのわからないものが落ちてるだなんて。
I was certain that when I saw what it actually was come morning, it'd end up being something totally random, like someone's old soda-stained gym clothes.
Did I miss anything?
Yeah.
そうだ。
We're getting Alex. We're here at the front. We're at the store.
Oh, finally.
She went into the classroom, the blackout happened, she fell, she's cleaning up all the shit that she dropped, and then she
Well,
touched...
oh yeah, I was here for all that.
Okay, you were here? Alright.
I was gone for the last like 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I went to get one of the
imagination
long
was just
lighters.
running wild because I was
もしか
panicking.
したらドアに何かが挟まってて開かないだけかもしれない。
I decided to check out that hypothesis by feeling my way across the door and determining if anything was jutting out from any of the
ダメ
cracks.
だ。真っ暗で何にも見えない。
I fumbled across the gaps in the floor, but I just couldn't make anything out that would be doing this, and the classroom's rear exit seemed a world away. Yeah, no, you can't see shit in the dark.
Probably actually the world away. It's a decoration. It looks like it's a decoration on the wall. I can't enter.
Now this
Alex, you
was
should
the
listen to the
third
music.
door. I couldn't get out of the classroom without exiting into the
今
hallway.
すぐ外に出たいのに。
Still at a loss, I noticed a sudden flash of light through the hallway window.
Let me guess, someone's standing there.
But the glass is only translucent, so I couldn't be sure of its source.
歩いてくる。
Then there came the distinctive clomp, clomp, clomp of footsteps.
そうだ。
It's a horse loose in a hospital.
This is a school, Alex.
Have you never heard that?
No, I have no idea what you're referencing. I recalled the
Shay?
existence of a custodian who always patrolled the school grounds. I was sure he must have been taking a look around after the sudden power outage.
助かった。
Have you ever heard the fucking the phrase "There's a horse loose in a hospital" from John Mulaney?
No.
Aw,
Unfortunately not.
you should watch
All
him.
at
You would
once,
love
my
him.
fear-addled legs regained their strength. This nightmare would soon be over.
すみません。
I shouted to the custodian through the window as loudly as I could muster.
すみません。閉じ込められてるんです。
I had to be sure he heard me. I shouted again. Finally, I could see the light out in the hallway again, and it seemed to be getting closer. However,
なんかこの光おかしい気がする。
perturbed, I took a step away from the
懐中
window.
電灯だったらもっと明るいよね。この光
Like the
は
faint,
なんだ
unearthly glow, classically... what's that word, Alex?
Attributed.
Attributed.
Thank you to spirits, who was what I was thinking. I tried to stop myself from finishing that thought, however. Dullness aside, it also looked like it was wriggling around in a very unnatural and unflashlight-like
そ
way.
れにこの足音。
Clomp, 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 clomp. 4 clomps, then a
There's a horse.
3 or second interval, and then another 4 clomps. They were sounding in a fixed
お
rhythm.
院さんじゃない。 かに変な歩き方。
The fear was back in full force. I had to find somewhere to hide.
Party.
What if I had accidentally summoned something inhuman? I mean, whatever that was, I begged it for help. I literally invited it in.
Oh, now you're using your brain cells, bitch.
Podium.
Mr. Peach. Podium.
Wait,
Oh, there's a
can
quick
it-
save. I
Well,
hurriedly hid myself beneath the teacher's podium. I grabbed my knees, curled up, and made myself as small as I
な
could.
の一体どうなってるの？
I feel bad for her mom. Her mom's probably like, where the fuck is my daughter? Fucking bad for that.
The footsteps continued to draw nearer and nearer. Clomp, 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 clomp. Little by little, the sound drew louder. Every hair on my body was standing on end.
Even her pussy hair.
Bro!
Yes.
I held my breath,
You're
clasped
stupid.
my hands together, and silently
love you.
prayed. Clomp,
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 clompy.
clomp, clomp. They were close now, very, very close.
I didn't hear you, Kyra.
Oh, I said you're stupid. I love you.
Me too.
Damn. Why was this happening? I couldn't make any sense of it. I just wanted it to be over. I prayed to God that it would end. Was this what the old woman was trying to warn me about? Was this all happening because I ignored her? Because I didn't take the paper doll from her? Was it because I heard the ghost story of Yoshi and allowed it to get to me? Or did
Wait,
the strange
Yoshi?
events of the day have nothing to do with what was happening to me now?
心臓が
Yosh.
飛び出しちゃいそうだよ。
Yosh.
It's just so dumb.
Like Yoshikage?
I was still holding my breath. I didn't dare let out even the tiniest of sounds, escape, and gave way my position. Tap, 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 tap. Tap, 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 tap.
Tap,
Stop.
tap, tap, tap.
Tap, tap, tap,
Tap,
tap.
tap, tap,
Friggin' Morse
tap,
code.
tap it.
Tap, 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 tap.
Uh-oh,
Okay.
it's slower. I saw that go slower.
Yeah?
Uh-oh.
Tap,
Uh-oh.
tap, tap in.
Uh-oh.
The constant rhythm of the footsteps suddenly ended halfway into its cycles.
I have a
And
question.
it had ended right in front of this very classroom.
What is it, Jay?
Maybe the tapping is actually the clapping of these very thick, voluptuous cheeks.
You'd be
Damn.
right.
I had goosebumps up and down my arms and legs. I stopped praying and clasped my hands over my mouth. I knew I'd scream if I didn't. Could this be Yoshi? Was the school legend real? Sorry.
Yoshi!
Yeah, just Yoshi. All I could do was close my eyes, keep my mouth shut, and hope that whoever or whatever this was would just go away. But the footstep sounds didn't start again. If this was indeed Yoshi, then she'd stop in front of the classroom and was just standing there. I had no contempt of time and concept. Wow! I had no concept of time anymore. Ew. Contempt. I stayed in my hiding spot for what was probably only a few minutes, but it felt like at least an hour.
仕事が消えた。
I decided to carefully peek out from under the podium. I gingerly edged my head out just
Gingerly.
far
love that
enough to
word.
get a glimpse of the room when suddenly... Oh shit. The footsteps rang out once more. It sounded like they were heading right for me, and they might have been inside the room. I honestly couldn't tell. I scrambled back into my hiding spot and covered my mouth with both hands. Yo, is this like somebody
just
walking?
flapping.
Or yeah, like this was too much for me. My breathing was coarse and
Ew.
erratic, and my face was a mess of tears and snot.
神様、助けて。
Yeah, I don't know what that word is. Alex, what's the third word?
Inconsolable.
Thank you. The footsteps just wouldn't stop. What on earth
glad we
were
went
they
dictionary.
doing? It almost seemed like they were running around in circles just to scare me. Dude, if I was a ghost, I'd do that too, just to fuck people.
Yeah, I realized it scared
You're
me.
fucking two-stepping.
Just like full on
Yeah.
tap dance.
Stepping
Teach
over
me how
your
to
corner.
Dougie. Teach me how to Dougie. Everybody
I
love me.
mouthed these words over and over
Everybody love
again
me.
and moved my hands to my ears in a vain attempt to block out the torturous sound. And as if in a response, the sound changed. It was loud, dull thud followed by silence. No more footsteps. Oh my god. If there's a jump scare, I'm going to scream. I heard the sound 100 times before, and it was the classroom door sliding open. I peeked out, but the door was still tightly shut. How could that be? If the sound I
locker.
heard wasn't the door, then what was it?
The locker, wasn't it, Peach?
You would,
That laugh.
I'm pretty sure you'd be right.
What little safety I felt here
I
was
just
pretty
hear-
much gone, but to be fair, I wasn't absolutely certain the spirit had seen or heard me either. The prospect of stepping out into the open wasn't a desirable one, but I had to decide if it was better to stay where I was or maybe make a break for it.
Make a break. Make a break.
Staying in one place for too long seemed like it would be inviting trouble, so I took a deep breath and reluctantly crawled out as quietly as I could. But almost immediately, I felt something.
Mm. What's that?
Something long and thin had struck me in the back of the head.
Bitch?
Or perhaps struck isn't the right word. There was a little force behind it, but it wasn't a hard slam. More like somebody trying
Peach,
to get
what the
my
hell's
attention.
going on?
Tell me.
I'm gonna shit.
A finger?
Yo, we getting fingered in the. Oh, let's go.
I knew I wouldn't like it, like what I was going to see, but I had to face whatever it was, so I turned around, and there looming over me was... Okay, going home.
Yes,
Good night.
ma'am. Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Good night. A figure was peering down at me from above the podium with one emaciated, wishbone-like...
Emaciated.
Whatever! Wishbone-like figure except...
Thanks, dictionary.
Thanks, dictionary. I recognize this person instantly. No doubt about it. This was a strange old woman who's supposedly passed away earlier.
Okay.
I was scared out of my mind. I tumbled the rest of the way from under the podium and shot to my feet. A ghost! There was really a ghost in the school! My breathing was ragged and my heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. Plowing through all the desks in my way, I ran as fast as I could toward the classroom door. But that was as far as I could go. There on the other side of the door, tight up against the glass, was the old woman. She was glowing bluish white, the source of the light from earlier. But how in the world did she get to the door before I did? How did she get out of the room so quickly and position herself perfectly to block my exit? Yo, ghosts can go through shit. Have you ever seen Danny Phantom, my guy?
She's just a dumb bitch. Leave her alone.
No. He's a phantom. I felt like I was
Danny Phantom.
starting to hyperventilate, and tried my best. Tried as best as I could to calm my breathing, as my eyes darted about the room. I needed to get out of here now, to get as far away from this place as I possibly could. I need to take a drink.
You want me to start reading?
Yes, please.
Okay. Give you a break. Shut up!
Stay
You're
hydrated,
annoying.
kids. I sound like a 50-year-old smoker.
I bit my lip and continued scanning the room. I didn't have the time to think carefully about it. I just had to grab something and hope for the best.
Just fucking
Pencil.
Eat a shoe. There were two choices, and I had to pick one on impulse before it was too late.
Yo,
Salt.
Kyra.
Salt. Yes.
Salt,
Salt. Salt.
salt, salt.
これ
Yeah, that'll do
科
it.
学の実験の時に使った塩の残りだよね
Bitch.
Salt is a natural ward of evil spirits.
I had heard that salt was used in purification rituals, so it seemed like a natural choice.
There you go, using your brain cells.
これを持っていこう
I could snort that much and nothing would happen. The fuck?
Yeah, it does look like campaign.
Oh, I placed the salt in my pocket as a sort of protective charm, you know, like the paper mache doll.
Yeah.
怖いけど
Before anything else continues, do we want to make an extra choice or no?
Does it have any effect on the story?
No, it's just like an extra choice. So basically, you're on like the last choice essentially. Where you either
really?
break something or run. But if you run, you have to do an extra choice. At least that's what it's telling me.
Okay. When I looked over, the spirit of the old woman was holding out her hand from the other side of the door frame. She really was trying to catch me. I wasn't just being paranoid. She was going to kill me and turn me into a ghost like her. I was convinced this had to be Yoshi, the teacher from the urban
や
legend.
だそんなの
Bracing myself, I darted toward the door at the back end of the classroom. There wasn't a moment to lose. If I didn't act fast, I probably wouldn't be able to act at all.
Did you want me to keep reading?
Yes, do it, please.
Okay, I threw the door open and just began running at top speed, hoping to escape behind the spirit's back. Unsurprisingly, trying to outrun a ghost proved to be a fruitless endeavor. The spirit saw me and moved at breakneck speed to intercept. Initial D! I thrust my hand into my pocket and withdrew the bag of salt, then threw the entire thing directly at the old woman's face.
Same.
Real quick, can we talk about the fucking, like, you know, super high, stamina, not stamina, what is it, super high, like, fucking adrenaline pumping scene, all you hear is,
Yeah, right? I just keep listening to it.
I ran down the hall as fast as my legs would carry me, briefly glancing over my shoulder after a moment to confirm that the spirit was still riding. I just kept on running down that dark hallway, with nothing but adrenaline and mortal fear to keep me going. How quaint. I reached the stairwell at the end of the hall and made a mad dash toward ground level. I was determined to get out of this building alive. Bitch. Finally, still moving at top speed, I reached the window door leading outside. Luckily, the malevolent spirit hadn't caught up to me yet. It actually seemed like I might be able to escape. I might actually survive this. Oh boy.
やっとここまで
I grabbed the handle and tried pulling it.
やだやだ開かないなんでどうしてここまで来てどうして開いてよ開いてよ
Should we...
You're gonna want to break the glass.
どうしようこのままじゃまたあの
It's
化
the
け物に
quickest way. You don't get to get shot.
なんとかしなくちゃ
Dumb anyway.
なんとかなんとか
Just break the glass.
Okay.
そうだ
Putting my thoughts in order, as soon as Alex stops dissociating, I came to the sudden realization that I was right near the umbrella racks. Unless the spirit had taken it or something, my umbrella should still have been right where I left it. Yeah, she took it. I practically tackled the rack, grabbing my umbrella in one swift motion, not from the handle, mind you, but from the top. And taking aim at the glass part of the door, the swung as hard as I could, smacking it dead center with the sturdy plastic handle.
Is this why my mom doesn't let me have umbrellas?
Probably. Really? The noise? The glass isn't going to break so easily, of course, but it did crack, giving me the impetus I needed to go in for a second hit. Again and again, I struck glass. I have the umbrella. I have the umbrella gripped so tightly that the metal skeleton of the canopy was leaving indentations in my skin. I was sure there had to be a better way to do this, but I didn't have the luxury of time to figure out what that might have been.
またこっちに来る